Oh man. Well, it's been fun. I don't know if I got fired or not, but I think I did. Um let's talk about it. Okay, so the NAR, in case you don't know, the National Association of Realtors made a settlement. They in the settlement, they are no longer listing buyer agents fees. Now, if you don't know, the vast majority of my business comes from buyer agent fees. Okay. That's just what it does. Now, I've spent a lot of time reflecting about this. And Glenn Kelman came out today and basically said they're changing their model. They're changing their model to go to direct to consumer. Okay. They're going to eliminate buyer agent fees. People like me. And I started reflecting on this. I've been reflecting on it for a week. I've actually not said anything because I've been thinking. And I've heard multiple other people mention this, and it's kind of been where I'm going. It kind of been where I think this is going, but I just hadn't said this. Now, Martin, you guys may not know Martin Williams, who's on our team. He is from the UK. The UK does not have buyer's agents there. I think they pay a 2% fee based on what I understand coming from the seller, and that's it. So the idea that we would pay 6% is pretty insane to begin with. And I think regardless of what happens with this settlement, whether or not the judge approves it, whether or not it happens, which I think it's going to happen, right? I think it is going to happen. But regardless of whether it happens, I think the dam has burst and consumers are absolutely sick of paying 6% to sell their house. And I don't blame them. I've sold my house. I think 6% is a ripoff, okay? And it got me thinking, especially in a seller's market, guys. In a seller's market, why in the world are you paying 6% for people to sell your house when, you have to do it because you don't want to look like a freak. But at the same time, it's like 6% so expensive. Well, over the last week, guess what's not taboo anymore? Offering 0% to buyer's agents. Sellers are sick of it. And if they can save, $15,000 on a $500,000 house by not offering a buyer's agent, they're going to do it. And let's be honest. If you're selling a $500,000 house and let's say your proceeds are $100,000, you're talking about 15% of your proceeds going to just the buyer's agent. And when you have 10 offers or when, you found your buyer and you're still paying that fee, yeah, I can see why people sued. It makes no sense. And so it got me thinking. And one of the things I thought about, Ethan, what's the value that you provide? What is the value that I provide my buyers? Because the truth is I'm not that great at showing listings. Okay. I don't know different types of countertops. I don't know cabinet materials. Okay. I don't know construction very well. My broker, Dana Jorgensen, he's awesome at new construction. He also, Martin and Andy on my team, they're great at renovations. They've done renovations. But me personally, I don't know that stuff. I don't want to say I'm worthless, but like where my strength is in data. It's in negotiating buyers and getting a better price on a house that's listed for X, coming in with data, making a case for why it should be lower, going back and forth and countering and really finding where the value is for both the buyer and the seller and coming to an agreement, helping buyers navigate the process from the time they make the offer, get into contract, all the way to close, making sure they're hitting deadlines on inspection, making sure that if they do have a bank that they have guidance on how to shop for rates and things to look for when bankers reach out to them. I mean, I think I do a phenomenal job at about half of what a buyer agent does. But when I think about the value that I provide, that's where it is and that's where it sits. And what if I could provide that for a fee and actually not technically represent you? What if you found your own house? What if, just like Redfin announced, you go direct to that house and then maybe engaged a third party to help you navigate and be an unbiased party for what you should offer so that you get that support, but that you're not paying, because in the end, that 3%, it comes out of the seller, but you're the one who provides the funds that the seller used to sell you the house. So I I don't know. I think that's where I'm going. And when I think about, there were two showings in the past year that really stood out to me, that really made an impact on me and how I provide value to my buyers. One was a house that we went to. It was a mini farm, and the listing agent met us there. It was a 1908 farmhouse, and she took us through the house. It was amazing to get her perspective. Not only did she know about the house, not only did she know about the nuances of the land, but she knew the owner, she knew the previous owner, she knew history and context and deferred maintenance, things that have been fixed, things that might need to be fixed, much, much better than I could have possibly learned in the little bit of time I had between my buyer saying, hey, we want to see this house, and actually going to see it. There's no way I could have provided the information she provided. I had another buyer. He was driving through a neighborhood that we kind of honed in on as we had these conversations about where the market is headed, what is changing, good areas, bad areas. He ended up in this neighborhood and just happened to be driving by a house that they had looked at, and the owner was out there doing landscaping. So they stopped and talked to him. The next thing you know, the owner brought him into the house, explained all the expansions he had done, the nuances of the house, the characteristics of the neighborhood, some of the things about the neighbors, things that, quite frankly, agents are told not even to share. There are things that we're not allowed to share about neighborhoods and people. And that personal touch that owner gave to my buyers helped them make the decision that they wanted that house. Okay. I didn't provide any value. Even though I had showed them dozens of houses, the house they picked was one that I didn't even show them. It was one that the owner walked them through that house, and that's the house that they decided. They're very happy with the house. But it got me thinking, like, well, what was the value that I provided? And, again, the value I provide is with data. It's with context. It's around negotiating. It's around helping a buyer go from making an offer to hitting every deadline within a contract, making sure they stay on the tracks, helping them with navigating mortgages and being able to shop mortgage rates, and saving them money in the process. Something that some buyers only do once or twice or 3 times in their life, I do all the time. And so it's fun for me to help them with that. But then there are other things that not only can I not help them with, that they expect me to, but that I'm obligated to try to help them with because of the way the model and the structure is set up now. So, Ethan, how do you feel about this? Well, on one hand, I'm thinking, I just got fired as I know it. Like, I think that my job is coming to an end. I'm optimistic in the sense that I do think I can charge a fixed fee that will be much less than what a buyer's agent commission is. But that fixed fee will provide enough help to the buyers in the areas that I know I'm strong in, that it will be vastly more valuable than if I tried to show them 15 or 20 houses that I have very little information on. And that only when they decide they want a house that I could dig into that house, which doesn't leave, like, why isn't the listing agent there every time? Why is it that the list agent who is getting paid $20,000 or $30,000 to list that house, how come they're not there to educate the buyers on the house? They've spent time with the owners. They've spent time understanding the nuances of the house, the deferred maintenance, the age of the HVAC, the quality of the roof, where there may or may not be leaks, why they know there's not mold in the crawl space. Okay, they've spent the time already looking at that house, and they're getting paid to sell that house. Why would you bring an uneducated buyer's agent into that house, offer them the same commission that you're getting paid to basically handhold a buyer through the process? The only answer is that when they come to the conclusion they want to buy that house, they need a third party to protect them from a seller who's incentivized to sell them a house. They need a third party, unbiased, to kind of help them navigate the sales process. Well, what if you could navigate the sales process without having to pay a buyer agent fee? What if there was a fixed fee for somebody who, looked at valuations based on what's happening in that neighborhood, looked at the dynamics, helped ask critical questions to help you avoid pitfalls, walked you through from contract to close, all the deadlines you need to meet, and helped you make an offer that is reasonable to the comps in that neighborhood versus whatever the list price is, regardless of whether it's high or low? And then what if you just paid a fee for that? What if you paid a fee that's half or even a third of what the buyer agent fee would be? And at the same time, you got the quality of going to a list agent who knows way more about the house than I would. I got to tell you, I think it makes sense. It makes sense for buyers. It makes sense for sellers. It's alarming for me. It's very scary for me, if I'm being honest, because I just chose this to be the sole source of my income, and now I'm having to change my business model. That's not fun. It's scary. But, in the end, it is what it is. It is what it is. And I'm excited for consumers. I think buyers and sellers, this is both a win. Certainly, I think it's a bigger win for sellers. I don't think home prices are going to drop 3% because there's no buyer agent fee. I think home prices are where they are because that's where the market is. And so sellers will by and far get the win on this. However, from my perspective, I get to charge a fee for specific things that I do that I'm good at, and I don't have to worry about all the stuff that I'm not good at. And even if that fee is much less, it's going to be much more efficient. I can focus my time and energy on providing what I'm good at, and the things that I'm not good at, I don't have to give poor quality work for those things. And so in some ways, I'm excited. It's either going to work or it's not. I'll give it, I always said I'm going to give this a year, and I've only been doing this full time since August of last year. We had an incredible quarter where we sold, we're on track to sell almost $5 million in real estate in the first quarter, which is huge. But I don't know what's going to happen after this. I don't know what's going to happen in Q2. There's a pipeline, you work it from a sales perspective, and if we can provide data-driven, strategic approach to buying and selling real estate, and we can save consumers money both on the list side and on the buyer side, I'm excited to do it. And if it doesn't work, it's been a good run. I've loved the time I've had doing this, and I'm okay with moving on. I always saw this as probably a temporary thing. I would do it for a couple of years while I waited for commercial real estate to crash, and then I would jump into commercial real estate. So ultimately, I think I probably will end up in commercial real estate, but I don't know, guys. I don't know where I'm going to end up. And it's really not about me. It's about the consumer, and I'm excited for the consumer. This is a big win for the consumer. Don't let agents... for agents out there, I know this is scary. I know there's a lot of mortgage bankers who have already been scared, and now agents who've gone back-to-back years with really low volume are getting slapped with, a big reduction in fees. There are jobs that are going to be lost because of this, and consumers will win, and it will be better for the economy. But there's going to be a lot of pain for people who have built models around making money on 3% buyer agent commission. It's no longer there, guys. It's not going to be there. It's going to phase out. People don't want to pay 6%. Even buyers don't want buyer's agents half the time, and I don't blame them. Why? Why pay that? Why work with somebody's calendar when you can go directly to the house? Why do it? For the vast majority of the people, I would say there's a huge amount of people that are going to pass on that. So if you're going to pass and you want to just pay a fixed fee, be unrepresented, go find your own house, and you just need that extra support, reach out. If it works, it works. I'd love to help you. And with that, I hope you guys have a great rest of the week. I've got a good commercial real estate crash video coming up, and I debated on whether making that or making this, and then Glenn Kelman was talking, and I thought I got to make this. Thanks.